All right, now we can hear me. We are back. Let me make sure it's not on James. Let me just.
Call on James right there. We'll just blame him for that one.
There we go. All right, I believe we are back. As I was saying, we're all smiles here. Quickly, Timeout Talks is brought to you guys by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, and is also sponsored by the Ice Shaker, the only bottle you will ever need. You guys can buy your Timeout Talks apparel at www.chaseandthrows.com and or on Amazon. And you guys can purchase your Ice Shakers at www.iceshaker.com. I just want to thank our viewers all across social media. Thank you guys for the feedback. Rob, first one in here. We got Marianne. We've got Jeff. We've got a pretty big show. I don't know if you guys could hear at the beginning, but we're going to start off with the MLB. Actually, we're going to start off with the Celtics. James has got a lot to talk about. I know he is really fired
There
up
we
about
go.
Ime Udoka, Ben
There
as
we go.
well. So we'll start off with that. We're definitely going to get into Ben is 3-0 in the upsets. Charlie O'Donnell being the first one to come in here and say that. I noticed that before the show. We'll talk NFL a little bit later. As I mentioned as well, two guys chasing history in the MLB we'll get to a little bit in the middle of the show. Some huge games and a wild week 3 in the NFL that we'll get to later. But let's kick things off in Boston. It's not all smiles anymore, guys. What the hell's going on? Ime Udoka suspended for the year. We've heard multiple things on what's going on. We know that there is sexual relations that had gone into this. Just another damper for the Celtics. Haven't even started the season, and it just seems like it's just they do not have the luck of the draw. First Gallinari, then Rob Williams. I know it was kind of a cleanup surgery and things are going to be fine, but just not the news we wanted. And I know James is really fired up about this, but Ben, I'm assuming you've got to be fired up because every time we come on the show, it's just negative Celtics talk.
Yeah, Josh, you just hit the head right there on the nail. It's just, it's just a tough situation right now. I'm still a little hard to grasp it. I mean, probably and now the assistant guy's got some stuff with him too. I forget it, Joe. I forget how. Yeah, so he's already got his own issues back in the day when he was a player, I believe, at West Virginia. He was got in a little trouble there. So it's just it's just too many distractions, like Josh said. I mean, Ime's a whole different situation. I just feel bad for the other female staffers of the Celtics organization that got put through all this. Just everybody on Twitter making all these crazy accusations, putting them on blast, and saying some of these things that just not right. So a lot of just false accusations being thrown out there, and just it was tough on Ime just to put everybody through all this. Don't know what he's doing. I really just didn't expect this from Ime, so I'm still pretty at loss with that. But your suspension is good for him. We got to figure this out. I think just suspend him for a year, figure out what we're going to do with him and all this. Um, I think most likely he's going to resign. I think just as these details emerge, as some of these other details, sort of the allegations, unwanted comments from him towards staffers, I think it's just going to put us, our feet to the fire and just say he's going to have to go. Yeah, but listen, Rob, I agree with that. We'll get to that point. That's a little later. That's a little lighter joke right there from Rob. Always love seeing Rob in here. Rob was nice and early in the chat too. Shout out to Rob for that one. But just this Celtics situation, Josh said it perfectly right there. Just the theme of it is just too many distractions. What are we doing? And just Ime just putting us in a really just no-win situation and really just making the Celtics organization look very bad. So we're gonna have to just bounce back from this, figure it out. Like I said, year-long suspension for him. I think he's going to resign. I just really don't see any way of him coming back. And we'll just go from there. I mean, we got the talent. It just stinks because I mean, he seemed to gel really well with the team. Obviously that's at the back burner right now. That's at the last of things, but it's just sad to see for Ime, the Celtics organization, I should say.
I know James is really fired up. He said he was going to come on here and cut a promo. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Um, Well, I mean, I'm not that fired up now, but
Yeah, here we go. Now,
I will say, I mean, it's really unfortunate, the whole situation altogether. I mean, I never thought Ime would be, this would happen, and unfortunately, he put himself in this position, and he gets what he deserves. They obviously took it very seriously, and I think there's going to be a lot of details emerging as the season goes on. Leaks that happen from the organization or whoever. I know Matt Barnes said this situation is 100 times worse than we know. He got a call from someone inside the organization that told him, and he defended Ime first, and then he took it down. So I'm actually gonna go and say Ime will never coach for the Celtics again, and Joe Mazzola will get a contract extension halfway through the season or at the end of the season, and he will be their coach for years to come. I'm going to say that Tatum and Brown take the next step forward as leaders. I really don't care who's coaching this team. I think it's time for these guys to lead themselves. They don't need someone yelling at them 24/7. I know Ime had, whatever, he had a good connection with them, good bond. But these guys, every great team, they're great. The best players are the leaders for the most part. I expect them to take that role over and just kind of, this is a good time to come together. So hopefully they do that for him. He's really well liked. They got Damon Stoudemire on that. They got a really good staff. So I think this is in a weird way gonna yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll come out ready to go because this happened. So it's a weird thing, but Ime will never coach them again.
yeah. So much for the promo. Where's the promo in there? Where was the hot take?
And I will say this: I disagree with Ben. He will not resign.
What do you mean?
He will not be. He will not be back, but he won't resign.
Are they just gonna fire him?
I just think they'll part ways.
I mean, you've got to, as James mentioned himself, this has got to be more serious. I know Matt Barnes came out. I seen that he was in the car, the video. He ended up taking that back. And, just as I've been telling people, as James has mentioned, Ben, just in general, you're the head coach of the Boston Celtics. You must have done something wrong, even if it was more than just a consensual relationship. There's some piece of the story missing besides that, if you're willing to part ways with the coach who literally just took you to the promised land. So again, we're starting it off with Ime Udoka. We've got a couple comments for the Celtics I want to get to real quick before we transition into the MLB. I just want to bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. This comment section is literally rolling today. Quickly, just going to rattle off some. Charlie O'Donnell coming in earlier, like I mentioned. He's saying Ben upsets. He won't shut up about the Colts. Hey, he's 3-0. I'm going to turn it to him a little bit later. I want him to talk about that because he's got to keep his upset streak rolling here. Rob just coming in saying, I've got all the connections with the Celtics. I wish. That's more like Jerry. Every time you see Jerry's like the Jaylen Brown Twitter. He's just... The people who just chirp and go ham. He sees one thing on Twitter, he runs with it. Jeff Warren, the 30 for 30 on the Celtics 2023 NBA championship winning team is going to be hell of a story. I like that one. Rob coming in with some Celtics hate. Just going to quickly breeze over this. He's saying, I love it. Let that franchise crumble. When Boston teams fail, it's because of James. Just another thing to laugh at for the Celtics. I've said this for years. They won't win the big one with JB on the team. He's had this weird vendetta towards Jaylen Brown. And guys, I'm going to turn this one over to you guys. Charlie O'Donnell coming in here. I know somebody else had mentioned this literally yesterday. I think it might have been Lewis, who's also been on the show previously. Charlie coming in here. Heard the C's are looking at Jay Crowder. How do we feel about this for a bench? Some depth for the bench.
I'll take him. I'll just jump right off there. I'll take Jay. Definitely with this Dano injury, whatever. Gallinari. I'm going to call him Gallo anyways. So, I mean, more depth. I'm never going to say no to that, especially just with this uncertainty at the coaching, sort of position too. I mean, I know Joe's been a part of the organization, but just having a guy like Jake Crowder who's already been a part of this, veteran guy, been to many teams, so he just knows how to just be a leader over there, be a leader on a team, I should say. So I would definitely love to have Jake Crowder.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think he's going to go to Milwaukee, but hopefully I'm wrong. Yeah, he'd be a great fit here. He's been here, 3-and-D guy. He's tough. It's hard to say no to guys like that. I still think they need another big. I'm really, I don't like the depth there, especially Williams going to be out, for whatever 6 to 8 weeks, and he's made of glass anyway. So
Here
we'll
we
see what
go.
happens.
Here we go.
And I'm sorry, Ben. Rob is on. He's got something for James today. I'm going to get to that comment in a second. Jeff also coming in. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will both be all NBA. They're both going to average 28, 8, and 7. I hope so. I mean, I actually realistically could see them averaging both above 25 points this year. Like James said, too, you've got to think that they take that next step as leaders, too. Hopefully, Jaylen Brown's worked on the fundamentals of dribbling the ball because that was a huge issue in the playoffs. But one quick point here before we go over to the MLB. We've got Zach. The Pelicans would never do something like this. Shaking my head. Go Pelicans. And Rob coming in, hashtag get Zach to a Pelicans game or to the Pelicans game. That'd be a fun one.
Let's go.
So, hey, we got to make it happen. And James, before we go MLB, I'm going to let you take this one. But Rob is he's got like a gun pointed. He is all in on firing up some comments here towards James. He's saying James with the biggest letdown since Tom Brady's last playoff game in New England. He's trying to dig under some skin with that one, with that take there.
I mean, to be honest, this kid still hasn't come on yet and admitted who his favorite team is. He's wearing a Bucks jersey, then he's got Browns jerseys. I'm just as confused as he is. So Rob, whenever you want to come on and let us know who's your favorite football team, please feel free to do that. Also, not really a bold take, but I'm going with it, man. Tatum's gonna win MVP this year.
I'm blaming Rob for that Patriots loss too. Sorry, Rob, but you're getting that blame for the Steelers losing that one.
I like Jeff. I wish Jason, he said also just saw Jason Tatum join the chat, so be careful what you say. Hey, I'm pretty sure he'd love to hear that news. MVP, James with the take there. Hey, hopefully he does take that stride this year. Hopefully it's been a tough start for the Celtics. You've got to think, my main point is they don't start the season off like they started it off last year. You can't be below 500, chasing 500 to start. Hopefully Joe Mazzulla, if I pronounce his name right, will kind of kick things off on the right foot here for the Celtics. And Zion for MVP, book it. That's a Zachary Alves take, so that's a hot one. That's an interesting one. However, we're going to move forward a little bit. On this one, he has been around, such a huge sports icon since I was like a baby. 700th home run, just big tip of the cap. James reminded me of this one over the past weekend. Couldn't let this go unnoticed, so big tip of the cap there. This is a guy who I believe up until this season was literally averaging like 300 for his batting average. I think it's dipped a little bit underneath that, but say what you want about the batting average. This guy is one hell of a player. He's probably going to be, I think of David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, all those guys I kind of clutter into just powerhouse swingers and guys who can just change a baseball game in a second. So I just wanted to start off with that one because I know you guys are probably thinking I was going to come on and talk more about Aaron Judge, but he hasn't done it yet. I know, and I feel like the spotlight's been a little unfair because Albert Pujols, what he did is pretty unbelievable too. 700 home runs in a career, insane. So just wanted to come off and onto the show, come off on the right foot and say congratulations to Albert Pujols because 700 home runs is just unbelievable.
Yeah, can I give a shout out to Albert for that? I mean, back in that first World Series for us, that was the guy. That was the guy over there. He was just a monster there. He was the machine. I remember those ESPN commercials back in the day, but just got to give him the credit and credit he deserves. I mean, hey, listen, he did it clean. I know you mentioned Barry Bonds up there. We can have our own debate with Barry Bonds being one of the greats, but listen, I think the greatest is Hank Aaron. That's my guy. Did it clean over there too. So, but you just got to especially give it more credit for Albert Pujols. Did the way that you're supposed to do it in baseball. Journeyman, been all over the place. Got to come back to the Cardinals, for this last season. Love to see him do it over there in that Cardinals uniform, and they're pretty good. So I believe they're in the post. They'll be in the postseason. I believe somebody could correct me if that's wrong, but so he gets to go another run at the postseason, another shot for him. So it's a machine. Just want to give him a shout out. 700, just amazing. And yeah, do we even need to talk about that Aaron Judge one? Who Who really cares about that,
Come
Josh?
on.
I'm just kidding, Josh. You know I'm just kidding.
No,
Wait,
for sure. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's crazy. We've got football back, the Celtics stuff. I know hometown drama in terms of not national. Well, I guess the Ime Udoka is a national headline, but we've got a lot going on. I think we kind of can't forget about the history that's going on in baseball. We've just got to turn. Rob is pushing this narrative here. Let's start off the NFL recap with this. Tough week for the New England Patriots, James's Patriots. We've got Rob coming in here saying Pats won't have Mac Jones. They are finished in all caps. So I'm going to turn this over to the Patriots fan himself. Let's recap a little bit about week 3 and just moving forward with this Mac Jones injury.
Hey, real quick, I just want to, since Zach's in the chat, I want to see if he's willing to take a bet.
here we go.
55 games, Zion plays. I'll take the under. Zach, you want to take the over? We'll say $25.
A live bet here on Time Out Talks. So 55, you're saying you're taking the under that Zion Williamson will play 55 games. You want Zach to take the over.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay. We'll see what happens on that one. While we wait for that one, though, James.
55 games.
At 82, that's not that much, man.
I know. Listen, I know.
Last thing I wanted to see is Brian Hoyer play quarterback again for the Patriots, so I'm really depressed about that. I can kind of relate to you guys watching Mitch now.
Yeah.
So,
wait, take
yeah,
that
I mean, it's really unfortunate. I'm kind of at a loss for words. Hopefully they can go to Green Bay and really pull one out of the hat, but I don't like their chances this week. Yeah, I would just say enjoy it for everyone that doesn't like the Patriots. This is a tough time right now, so eat your popcorn, drink your soda, soak it in.
I know I am.
Unless you're a Steelers fan, because you're watching Mitch Trubisky just absolutely ruin your team.
Oh.
And you got tiny hands on the sideline with the clipboard. I heard they got him an extra small clipboard, so that's good.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut off Ben. That couldn't have came at a better time because Cody came in here, Steelers fan, saying Zappy and doing the greater than Mac Jones. So he's trying to say Zappy over Jones. But I digress.
It's going to be Hoyer. That's what they do. I mean, I wish they would go Zappy, but it's just not going to happen. They're not going to trust a guy like that. I know they trusted Mac Jones, but he was a first-round pick. Yeah, I mean, their defense is going to have to stand on its head this week. Hopefully, Rodgers turns the ball over. It's not going to happen, but that's the way they would have to win, control the game on the ground. But Hoyer, watching him is I'm just so upset about it. But yeah, not a good week, man. You're going to be 1-3. See what happens. And I think you got the Lions at home, so that's a must-win game, even though the Lions aren't that bad right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, they stink. They stink. Zach has taken the bet too.
It's a deal?
Yeah, he says it's like stealing candy from a baby. I'll take that bet. So there we go. Everybody just remember that one. That's at 55. Jimmy's got the under. Zach's got the over.
55 would be a push.
Yeah, thanks, genius. We got that one for you. Didn't really need to say that, but all right, let's just get back to the Patriots. They stink too. So Jimmy mentioned it as well. We're in the same boat, Steelers, so I can't really go too much with it. Even though Mitch did give me a little bit of hope in the first half. I don't give me that face. We were winning. I finally saw him moving the ball, and I don't know if he just decided not to come out in the second half and the play calling. Matt Canada just decided to stop calling the game. He just said, let's go back to the first 2 weeks and just run the ball and just not do anything creative and not let Mitch run out there. Listen, Mitch's first touchdown was what we're supposed to do. Just those fake, halfback draw, let Mitch take it on the option. Mitch's got athleticism, but I digress. We'll get to the Steelers. The Patriots, same boat. I mean, it's just that offensive line isn't going to hold up with what you need. And that defense just isn't as good as it once was. No weapons there. That defense can't stay on the field, much like our defense. You can't just keep trying those defenses out there and expect them to keep making play after play if the offense isn't going to give it to you. The Patriots did look good. I mean, they were competing with the Ravens. I'll give them that. Mac Mac was holding his own until that fourth quarter. I mean, they did have their fair share. Listen, they put up more offense than us, so I have to give them that credit where credit's due. But I just think the playmakers finally caught up to them, and just too many turnovers. And that defense just isn't what it is. So I mean, this Mac Jones injury is devastating. We've got to see how long this is. Obviously, this Green Bay one is a loss. I just don't see them going into Lambeau winning with Hoyer. So I mean, it really just depends on this whole Patriots season now, is how long Mac going to be out for. I know people are floating a little Minshew mania. I know people are looking at Gardner Minshew. I'd be interested to see what Jimmy says about that, and anybody in the chat, if anyone down for a little Gardner time over in New England. But to be honest, it's just, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, guys, and I just can't have my full due, because the Steelers just are in pretty much the same exact position. So I can't really be as happy as I am. But trust me, I'm still smiling on the inside that the Patriots are in the same spot as us.
Can I just say one thing? I disagree a little bit on the defense. I know they gave up whatever 38 points it was, but the turnovers kind of put them in bad field position. So I know Lamar kind of in the second half did what he wanted to do against them, but I think the defense is good enough to keep them in games. So I think the turnovers, the fumble, the picks, that really hurt them. They're not good enough to make that many mistakes.
And we've got a quick question here from Jeff saying, who is the best quarterback between Bailey Zappi, Brian Hoyer, and Cam Newton? So I'm sure he's alluding to some type of bringing in Cam Newton. I'd run it with Zappi. I mean, I know I'd keep Brian Hoyer there in case, he knows the system. Maybe even start it with him in the first half. Like James said, we know what's going to happen. Maybe if you got a little reminiscence of that Chiefs game. We've got Jameson here. Everybody say hi to Jameson. But yeah, maybe it's a reminiscence of that Chiefs game where they're kind of in the game, and then, Brian Hoyer kind of can't put them over the hump to win them the game. But if you're a Pats fan, like James said, you hope you lean on your defense, especially that running game. Damian Harris, nice balanced dose of Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, who looked great this past weekend. Hopefully lean on that offensive line to be pretty good. You got to win your battles in the trenches if you're a Pats fan. So, but overall, I'll quickly take answer to that. I would like to see Bailey Zappi in there as a neutral, non-Pat hater, non-Pat lover. I don't know. I think the Cam Newton experiment should be over, and I agree with James as well. By Brian Hoyer, maybe he's just there for moral support at this point. I know they kind of kept a weird analogy, but Kellen Moore was a backup for Cowboys for a while, knew the system well. Maybe Brian Hoyer will end up becoming an offensive coordinator one day. Maybe that's why he's there. I don't know. I agree with James. I don't think,
I just want to ask one question. Like, why are people pulling for Zappi? Is it because Hoyer's so bad? Because we don't know if Zappi's good at all. And I would rather Zappi, but is it just because Hoyer's so bad? Is that why people are saying this?
I'm assuming that, and maybe, this kid looked decent.
We have no idea if Zappi's good. We have no idea what to base it on.
It's familiarity too. Sorry about that. Finally spit it out. But we've already seen Hoyer and Cam Newton for these Pats fans. I think they're already done with this experiment. That's what's kind of nagging me along with this Mitch thing too. I think I've already seen this show before, so I'm kind of interested to move on. But Zappi, I believe he holds a record for most passing yards in I think FBS history over at Western Kentucky. It's intriguing. He had a good preseason, so I can see why people might be clamoring for him a little more. But I think just Hoyer's just so old. We've already seen him before. He's Brady's backup, so I could just tell you something a little right here, and Cam Newton's not even really going to play anymore. So I think Cam Newton's that Cam Newton experiment's pretty much done in the NFL. I think right now. Sorry to Cam Newton and everything. I just don't see a need for him anywhere, especially with guys like Cooper Rush putting on shows over there. I think and just more so with this one, I think people just want to see the younger quarterbacks. That's what I want to see. Just might as well let these kids play and let them go do something, because we already know what's going to happen with the Hoyers and Newtons. So I'm all for Zappi too over here. I'll throw that one. That's not very good. Jeff kind of threw three tough quarterbacks in there. Throw Minshew in there, and I'd put Minshew first. I'd like to see Minshew over there. What's Bill able to do with him? But let's call him the plays too. That's a little It's a question I want to ask too, but
One thing too, I just wanted to bring up as well. I know we talked a little bit about the Steelers. I just want to give you guys a little bit of information here so you guys can understand how frustrating their offense has been. And maybe I think Ben is right. I think this has to land on Canada. Matt Canada, right? That's his name?
yeah.
Yep. I know he's had his hiccups in the past. A better understanding of how frustrating it's been for Ben and the Steelers fans. So just wanted to provide a little bit of visual information and some stats there to show. Quick thing here, another little storyline I kind of want to get into. It's gonna play a little game here.
He's got a pumpkin.
He's got the pumpkin. He's got that October vibe coming in early. I like it. I love to see it. I'm gonna just say some stats, and you guys are gonna tell me if this is taught. If you know what, I'm just gonna say the stats. You don't have to guess who it is, and then I'm gonna ask a question after. So through 3 games this year, this quarterback has posted a passer rating of 119, 749 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions only, and has
10 throwing touchdowns?
10 throwing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Let me just see one thing. I just want to add one more stat to this one. And 243 rushing yards this season.
Oh, it's easy. Come on.
Who is
It's
it?
Jalen Hurts.
It is not. It is not
Oh.
Jalen Hurts.
That's my guy, though. That's my fantasy quarterback.
Kyler Murray?
It is Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
Now, with this question being posed, and I think this can go, I know where James is going to go, and with these statements being posed, is Lamar Jackson a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now? Go.
No.
I would say so.
Like Jameson, no. Jameson saying no. I like it. I agree. I agree as well.
Now, listen, Jameson's a little smarter than Jimmy. Trust me on that one, but I can't even agree with Jameson on that one. I'm going to put Lamar at 5. Who else are we going to put in there right now? What we go? Let's say Josh Allen, number 1.
Brady, Rodgers.
I think Brady's not
Okay.
looking that good. Brady's not looking that good.
Are you talking like, this is a hard argument though. Like, are you talking for one game or for like a full season?
Just saying right now, like in terms of you
Full
can take
season,
it with
yeah.
how you want it to be. Full season.
I'm taking a bunch of guys over.
We'll see, because you're twisting the question now. Now you're twisting the question like usual.
I think the way that you can view this, and I'll just give my standpoint on this, is when I view top 5 quarterbacks or top 5 wide receivers, I take a little bit of a sample size. Right now, personally, I don't have him in that top 5. He is making a strong case within this season, but you look at his stats last year, I think he threw 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His playoff record's atrocious. I know some people, my top 5 would consist of Josh Allen, in no order. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I think those 4, like, in my opinion, undisputed. Like, that's the top 4. Me, I love Justin Herbert. I put him at 5. I know some people want to say, he hasn't really made the playoffs. I look at the first 2 seasons, 31 touchdowns followed by 38 touchdowns. This guy's unbelievable. I personally like him better than Lamar Jackson, so I'd throw him in the top 5. But I guess the question to you guys and to the viewers as well is, this could be based off whatever you want it to be. I mean, you can't go in here and say, Lamar Jackson's stats this year show that he's top 5 within the last however many years. Right now, to this moment, he might be, but I think taking the sample size of previous years, applying it to now, I don't have him in the top 5, throwing in playoff records as well. I know it's kind of hypocritical because Justin Herbert's never played in the playoffs, but that's me personally. I would say he's out of the top 5, and I would say just going off the sample sizes, I like Justin Herbert's numbers better than I do Lamar Jackson's, even though he is an MVP winner. And we've got Jeff coming in here to kind of bounce off this. You guys would take Lamar this year over Jalen Hurts this year. I'm still going to say no. I would rather have Jalen Hurts. I think his style of play isn't as reliant on the run and as a rushing quarterback as Lamar. I know that sounds a little bit ridiculous because Jalen Hurts has like already 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns, but I don't know. I think James has kind of mentioned this point of Lamar Jackson style. It's kind of been hard. You look at Marquise Brown, and I don't mean to steal this point from you, James, but look at all the targets he finally got this week with Kyler Murray. I know they play similar, but I don't know. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I'd rather have Jalen Hurts in terms of team football, and I think he can get it done. I like him personally better than Lamar. I have this weird vendetta. I'm not in love with Lamar Jackson.
I'd take Lamar. Come on, Josh. I'd take Lamar over right now. I'm putting Lamar in the top 5. Like all those 4 quarterbacks Josh mentioned, Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, and Brady. I put Lamar right now in this season, the way he's playing, I put him right in there. He's just playing unreal, and that's tough. Listen, Jalen Hurts is my fantasy QB too. Shout out Jalen Hurts. But I don't know. I just, like Josh has already mentioned, Lamar's got a bigger sample size, so I'm going to bank on that. He's already had the MVP season. Hurts is looking like he's gearing up to be one of the best quarterbacks out there, premier quarterbacks. But just right now, I think Lamar's just on pace right now. I just would rather have him at this stage in his career. I think he's a little more mature, just got more experience in the league. So I'm not looking forward to playing the Ravens. I think that should tell you all. Yeah, you know about it with me and Lamar right now.
Moving on here, we're going to move on a little bit. One of the last storylines that I kind of wanted to touch base on in the NFL, the Cowboys. Before we move forward, I had to talk. I had a blank. I just wanted to say one thing. Last night's game, I was very impressed with the defense. I wanted to go on and say one thing. Dan Quinn has worked absolute wonders. I remember this Cowboys team being one of the worst ranked teams, even with the Sean Lee and DeMarcus Ware. They've, just ranking wise, those teams were always very overrated defensively. I don't think so anymore. I think you look at even last year, the Cowboys finished the season as the number 1 offense. They got exposed. I know we lost in the first round, but I think this defense is legit. I really do. I think the secondary is a little weak, but other than that, this is a good defense. Tip of the hat to Dan Quinn. DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 sacks yesterday. And I do want to say one thing because I think I was a little impressed with Daniel Jones yesterday, and I don't want everybody to harp on him. That guy was running for his life. I didn't think he played like the typical Daniel Jones. He was kind of picking his spots as Troy Aikman was making the calls on the broadcast as well. He was kind of running up the middle, or he wasn't doing too much to Daniel Jones the game in typical ways where you'd see like he's just going to completely give the ball over. I know at the end of the game he threw the pick. The receiver kind of fell down too as well. But I think that game last night, this is going to sound weird. I credit the Dallas defense. I think they're legit. I have my concerns with the offense as well. But I think that game last night and moving forward within the NFC East is more about the Giants being pretenders than it is about the Cowboys. I know that sounds kind of weird because it was a close game, but, no starting quarterback in Dak. Cooper Rush played amazing again. I don't want to demean anything, but I'm trying to not buy too much into that win. It's great. I think in the long run of things, it prevents Dak Prescott from having to come back earlier. I know they've talked about him maybe coming back next week. That's just a stupid storyline from Lisa Salters. He's not going to come back this week. You play it with Cooper Rush, have a chance to go 3-1, and just have him back as healthy as possible. But at the end of the day, I told everybody this Giants team was a pretender team. That's not because I have hate for them or anything, but I do want to say I respect Brian Dable's job, what he's done over there. You look at that receiving core as well. They are just Richie James, Kenny Golladay, who is a joke, Sterling Shepard, who just went out for the year. Now then they have some guy, Davis Sills, who the Pats brought in on their practice squad. They're rolling out guys we don't even know about. So I will say it was a good game for the Giants, but they're not ready yet. They're pretenders. Just want to throw that one out there, but yeah. Before we get over to our football takes, which are right on the corner. But yeah, Ben, James, if you have any comments. And Diggs is a top 10 corner. That's it.
Hey, you got anything on the Cowboys? Jimmy, you can go first.
Yeah, impressive win. I mean, the Giants aren't pretenders, they're not even contenders. I don't know what they are. They're just there. Big win on the road. No doubt about it. Anytime you win without your starting quarterbacks, it's a big win. So Rush has done a good job. Pollard and Zeke have, a nice little 1-2 punch going. They should definitely keep playing Pollard. He's a nice little weapon for them when they get Gallup back. This team should be all right. They should win that division. I still think they're better than the Eagles, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know
That's a
about
hot
that.
take.
We
A lot of people.
gotta watch out for that one. Sorry, Josh, but listen, I'm loving the Cowboys. I especially just loving last night what I saw from them. They just fought yesterday. They just fought last night, I should say. That team had heart. That team just showed like they wanted to be there the whole time. I know the score didn't reflect it the whole time, and I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna disagree with Josh on that one. Listen, I don't think the Giants proved they were pretenders too much. They showed a little fight in there. Danny Dimes was looking good, but back to Marianne's point with the Steelers too, as I mentioned, the offensive line. That Giants offensive line was just horrendous. He just was under duress the whole time. And when he had time, and even when he didn't, he actually made some nice throws in the first half. He kept them in it. They just couldn't get it done late. Just turning the ball over, and especially on that final drive. Obviously, they didn't have any timeouts, but then you see the Danny Dimes coming in there with the pick. Just sort of what we remembered from him. But I think overall, they showed a good fight from the Giants. I know, obviously, they're supposed to beat up on the backup quarterback, but Cooper Rush took control of that offense, and they should have been cruising a little more if it wasn't for that CD drop. CD had some, I don't know what was going on with CD. Obviously, he made up for it with that one-handed catch and just many others for that final last couple drives. But I was just really impressed with the heart and grit from the Cowboys. I hadn't seen it in a while from them like that. So that's what got me pumped up for them as the Cowboys, as for Josh's Cowboys and him, those Cowboys fans. Like Josh said, obviously now you don't have to rush Dak back. I did see that report too, and it's just crazy. Let's just not ruin the season already. We really don't need to rush him back. Even if they lost this game, I don't think you have to rush him back too much. I know maybe you're panicking a little more, but I definitely give Cooper Rush a little more of a leeway. Right there, but now, especially with the win, I think you're good right now. So the Cowboys, I think you're in a good position.
And I agree. I figured, hey, we might as well start off with them. We're getting to our week 4 predictions. Let's do it. They're playing 1:00 CBS game in Dallas at home. The Washington Commanders, who allowed 9 sacks this past week. I mean, Carson Wentz just absolutely getting annihilated last week. Can you feel the rush? Tony Scarfo coming in here with that. I can. I'm still living off that rush. And that rush is going to lead into week 3. I started it off by saying this. The Washington Commanders allowed 9 sacks. Do the same thing you've been doing. Get pressure to the quarterback. Make Carson Wentz's day a living hell. Again, I think it's going to be similar to this Giants game. We're going to lean a little bit on the defense. As Ben mentioned, let's clean up some of the drops there from CeeDee Lamb. Offense played pretty well, but again, penalties have been an issue. Let's clean up the penalties, rely on the defense here, lean on the running game, heavy dose of Pollard. I'm going to say the Cowboys win 27-13. The offense comes alive a little bit. You won't see as many drops from CeeDee Lamb. He made up for a couple of them yesterday. He had a big 4th down conversion as well as that one-handed snag. That was impressive. But I'll say Dallas gets the job done at home. And to Ben's point, just prevents that Dak Prescott injury and prevents him from having to come back and rush things up. So Nick DeVos, any given Sunday, Washington wins. So that's a good point. Who knows? The Dallas Cowboys, I know they could do this and then absolutely get blown out by Washington. But I have faith in them. I think they win this game 27-13 at home.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got the Cowboys in this one too. I'm going to go Cowboys. I mean, come on, the Commanders just in shambles right now. Obviously, Josh mentioned the 9 sacks. That's just the theme right here. Bad offensive line play. Coming into Dallas, I don't know, just the Commanders, I think they're just really realizing what this team is. It's just not good enough. Someone's going to have to falter in the NFCs. I think it's going to be the Commanders. They're going to have to take some beatings. And I think the Cowboys are going to give one out this week. I got them winning. Going to win it comfortably. A lot comfortably. 24-14. I think it's going to be close, obviously. Cooper Rush still being in there. He can win some games, but they're not going to be crazy blowouts. But I like what I'm seeing from the Cowboys so far. And I think the schedule favors them where they can get Dak back and time where, they don't even have to salvage the season. The season will be still firmly in hands for them. So this is looking really well and shaping well out for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys win. I'll say 24-10.
I just copy my pick.
I like it. Let's roll
Basically
over
copying
to
it.
the next 1:00 game. Ben's favorite team here. We've got the New York Jets at 1-2. Both 1-2 teams traveling into Pittsburgh. Tough place to play. I'm just going to quickly rattle off this one. I think the Steelers get the job done at home. You've got to beat up on the Jets here. I think this could be a close game, though. Joe Flacco's been slinging that thing. I don't know what the status update is with Zach Wilson. I think he's out till week 4, but I could be wrong. Steelers have to win this game. Got to get back on the right foot of things. I'll say they win it in a frustrating one, 17-13.
Oh, yeah. Sounds pretty accurate right there, Josh. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very frustrating. I think even the last time we played the Jets, we lost. We actually needed that game and we kind of blew that one. I think being at home, I think we're gonna bounce back, get this win. We know how to play Joe Flacco. Trust us, Joe Flacco's been there plenty of times, which might not bode well for us, but I think it is. We get this win. You might see this game a little later on when we're giving out some of our upsets and locks and everything, but I think the Jets are just too banged up a little. Garrett Wilson's banged up. They've already faced some injuries. They kind of came back down to earth after that week 2 win against the Browns. Thank you for that. And the Bengals beat up on them. They needed that win. Bengals just need to get on the board, and the Steelers need a big bounce back one. And that's what the Jets are here for. The Jets are here just for bounce back games, just to beat up on them. So I got the Steelers winning this one, but like you said, Josh, it's going to be frustrating. Nothing's going to be easy this year, even these Jets games. It's just something Steelers and Pats fans need to adjust to right now. None of these gimme games are going on anymore. We don't have any more gimmies anymore. It was nice. Those years were nice. I wish I could go back, but now we have to put up with these guys. So I think we win. I like 21-10. 21-10.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh 20-6.
20-6.
Wow, quick little. I like that one. Hopefully the offense can get going. This is very much, in my opinion, got to be Mitch Trubisky's last straw. We've got Nick DeCosta coming in here at Steelers' possible survivor pick. They could be. Nick is also still in the survivor pool. He's hanging around. He's hanging around in that one. Ben, are you still in that?
No, I kind of got greedy. I went too self-confident. I should have taken the upset. 2 for 3 with my locks. I got my lock wrong last week. I said the Bucs were going to win. Then I took them in the survivor pool too. People were pretty confused with that.
Yeah, James looks very confused.
Listen, that's just what I want. I felt that win coming. I thought at home, I thought Brady's going to get it done. But thanks, Brady. So Brady lost me that one. Not in it yet. So if everyone just wants to keep taking my upset picks and my other locks, hopefully it should be good to go. And don't appreciate that from Shee. Now the Steelers or other teams' gimmies. I don't think that's how they look at us. Listen, we're still up there. We're still up there, even though I told everybody about the Browns. I knew they were going to pummel us on the ground, and they did. So I'll say that.
And Marianne coming in, you might have already asked this question, answered this question earlier. Is it Mitch or the offensive line that's the problem? I think it's both. I think it's all three. The offensive line is atrocious.
Everything.
Mitch is scared to kind of heave the ball, and then obviously Matt Canada, I don't know if it's true, they're not letting him audible out. You've got to believe that's not true. I mean, come on, like this is, if you can't audible like at the line of scrimmage, I mean, like you don't even know what the defense is showing sometimes before you make the play. Like, I hope that's not true. I mean, I don't even know how he still has a job if that's true. But that would be insane. But I think it's a mixture of both, in my opinion.
Yeah, Josh, that's perfect right there. It's a mixture of all three. Just need just something else in there. Hopefully we can get some offensive line help in there. Maybe with the draft. I'm not saying we're going to be up there, but just need any pick. Just get some of that offensive line help. depth, everything in between. Mason Cole's really not working out too well. Like I said, probably should have went with maybe Tyler Linderbaum, maybe the rookie instead of just getting these random depth guys from the Vikings and Bears. But I digress. But Josh said perfectly. It's all three. Man, Canada needs to get more aggressive and just needs to stop being more conservative. And let Mitch let loose. I mean, if you can't audible, that's crazy. And then Mitch is just another problem in itself, but he's not going to do too much with that offensive line. So, culmination of everything.
Nick DeVosta. It's Pickett time. We'll see if it's Pickett time this week.
Hopefully.
I'm just going to do it. I'm sorry. I have to say it. 4:25 Fox game. I know the New England games are usually on CBS. Patriots want to avoid 1-3. On the other hand, the Packers would love to go 3-1. In Lambeau, tough game. Mac Jones with the high ankle sprain. Jacoby Myers banged up. Aaron Rodgers, they are off feeling really good off of a good win against the Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa Bay. I hate to do this to you guys, but this is my lock of the week. I was looking at some of the games this week. I don't think that there's many locks. James feels a little disappointed, but when you're rolling in Brian Hoyer to Lambeau, tough atmosphere. This is a tough game either anyways. It would definitely not be a lock of the week if Mac Jones was playing. And again, I think that goes to show how much faith I do have in him. But I like the Packers in this. I'm just going to say it. It's my lock of the week. I might go crazy. I think we're going to see 30-10. I'll say the Packers win big time, and it's something that you can't jump around and get on Patriots fans for because they're rolling into Lambeau, one of the most hostile environments, with a guy who's 0-9 in his last, or 0-11 when he has started, and Brian Hoyer. So this is my lock of the week, and I think you're going to be hearing a lot of go, Pack, go, unfortunately.
Agree with that, Josh. Jimmy's probably still crying. But, yeah, I mean, Packers will win. That's why I said a little earlier. No offense, Pats fans, but all the offense, it's going to be a tough one. 30-10, that's an interesting one. I could see maybe like 28-7, maybe like 35-7. It's just going to be – I just don't see any offense getting started for them. I don't see how they get it going. I just don't. I mean, Brian Hoyer, who's I totally forgot about the Jacoby Myers injury. I mean, is Damian Harris still going? I don't even know. Is he good? Is he good to go? Well, he was still a little dinged up.
Fired up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's gonna be a beatdown. You're going into Lambeau. I got 28-7, maybe 35-7 if they get crazy. It's not my lock. I'll say my lock after this, but I've already said it, so it's a little tease.
Packers win 23-20.
Yeah.
Wow, close game, James. Why so close?
I think they're going to hang in this game.
Okay.
That's my logic right there.
That's sound.
Could be blind logic.
I think they're going to get a defensive touchdown. And Hoyer will just do enough, even though he's terrible. I don't know. I don't really think Green Bay's that good either. I think their defense is good. Obviously, that's not a good matchup, but offensively, I think they're still trying to figure it out. So I think they'll hang in there.
I like it. You never know. James, Ben hates it. Look at Ben, the opposite side of things. James has been showing all the facial reactions. Ben does not like that one. I'll go quick. My upset of the week. Tough one down in Denver for them. But we've got ESPN Monday Night Football. If you want to count this an upset of the week, I was trying to look at some of the games. I couldn't find many. I didn't want to do the same one as Ben. But we've got the 2-1 defending Super Bowl champions traveling into Candlestick Stadium. That is the name of it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. In San Francisco, Santa Clara, wherever the hell it is. They play the 1-2 San Francisco 49ers, who my guy Jimmy G had a tough outing, but that's all right. He's top 15, and he's going to show it this weekend. I think they rely on a little bit of the run game here, hopefully get Elijah Mitchell involved. This is going to be a good win, divisional game. I think it's a very important game. I don't think the Rams are as good as people say. I know they're kind of banged up as well. I'll say It's a high scoring game. I'm gonna say 28. I'm gonna say 30-28. The San Francisco 49ers win this one.
I like that one, Josh. I like that one. Just gonna throw in my lock too, just real quick. It was the Steelers. If anybody wants a Steelers lock, going up against the Jets, like I said, I've already given that one, but I'm just gonna put myself on the line right there. I know I got my lock wrong last week, so everybody, viewer discretion advised with that one. Listen, but I got you with the upsets, so stay tuned for this one. I know Josh was liking this. Josh kind of mentioned he don't want to take the same one as me, so I'm liking that Josh was liking this matchup. This matchup was just intriguing me. But like Josh just mentioned a little earlier in the show, to the beginning, it's just kind of a tough week to find some upsets and everything. If you want another one, I kind of like the Raiders. I don't know if it's I don't know if you want to classify that as an upset. Raiders at home. 0-3 got the Broncos coming into town. I like the Raiders in that game a lot. But my upset of the week is Falcons over the Browns. 1:00. I got the Browns coming into Atlanta, feeling really good. Just beat us down pretty well. I think they're just gonna have a letdown game right now. Traveling on the road. Atlanta's looking good. I got a nice little win against Seattle. Cordero stepping up. Marcus Mariota doing this thing. So I got the Falcons in this one. Looks like Jimmy's Patriots sort of reasoning. I can't give you too much. Listen, this is just another gut one like I did with my Colts pick. There's just something in there. And hey, shout out to Jose and Jeff for that one. I got you guys with that. I told everybody. Colts I just found something about them. They needed to get on the board. That was a huge win for them. Now they got a big divisional matchup with Tennessee. So it's gonna be a huge game too. Watch out for that one. I don't know where Jimmy's looking, but I'm talking about the Colts. But don't worry, the Falcons, if you want an upset, I like them over there. At home, got the Brownies coming into town. So book it, Falcons, week 4 upset.
I like it. That's a good one. And I'm seeing the Amari Cooper season. It's killing me. It hurts, but it is what it is. Noah Brown will get Gallup back. So.
He's just saying that for fantasy, just because everyone makes fun of him for the Amari Cooper pick. But listen, he's not going to play the Steelers secondary every week. So Amari's going to come back down. Trust me.
That's for sure. I'll give you my lock of the week. I'm taking the Lions at home. They're playing Seattle. Seattle's just terrible.
I think the Lions get to 500 there. They're a tough team. They just need to figure out how to close games, not blow leads.
Upset of the week. I'm all in. I'm going Jacksonville. They're going to Philly and they're going to beat them. This team can run the ball, they can throw the ball. Kirk's legit. Zay Jones has been good. They got a nice little 1-2 punch at running back. Their defense is really good. That kid Lloyd, their 2nd-round pick, I think, or 3rd-round pick, Devin Lloyd, has been absolutely unbelievable for them. Playmaker all over the field. I think they go into Philly and win that game. They got something special brewing in Jacksonville.
I love to hear. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No.
Ben, but I love to hear that for one thing. Obviously, they're playing the Eagles. I think the Eagles are legit. I know we've talked a little bit. But I love to hear that for 2 reasons. For that, and for the fact that I think I'm really rolling with the fact that I'm going to say, we've got a few minutes left on this show. I think they're going to win that division. I do. I know Ben said, the Colts, but I agree with James. I think that they finally got a balanced offense. I think Doug Peterson, has done a great job. And what was that?
Yeah.
The revenge
game for him. I didn't even think about that. As James mentioned, they've got that power back in James Robinson, and then they've got the Travis Etienne, little dump off there weapon for Trevor Lawrence, who's also looked great. Shout out to Charlie. He's been by him. And I just want to throw one thing out there. I don't know about you guys. This was a huge heated debate with some of my friends. I know Cody, Jerry disagreed, Jeff disagreed. It was only me and Lewis who stuck to this one. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence over Jalen Hurts. I don't know about you two in this, but I even threw the college football out there to say I think it's shown. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence over Jalen Hurts overall as the quarterbacks go. So just want to throw that one out there as well. So shout out to Charlie O'Donnell for sticking by his side.
Oh, it's a little tough, Josh. Now he's got me thinking. The last couple minutes. I don't know. I might have to go. I don't want to just jump on that Jalen Hurts, but I love what Jalen Hurts has been doing over there. I just love the dual threat over what he brings to the table over there. It's just improved as a passer too. And you're actually seeing what happens when you get him weapons, not just Devontae. He's got AJ Brown. Now to complement Devontae Smith, now you're seeing Goddard step up. I might have to take Jalen Hurts in that one, Josh. I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Trevor Lawrence right now.
Right now, Hurts. In the long run, it's not going to be close. I think Lawrence will be way better.
Oh,
What a take.
He just diminishes anything. It's just a quick take. I love it.
It wasn't even the question, though.
I know. I just
said he's going to take both of them.
This very moment, Jalen Hurts is better. At the end of the season, Trevor Lawrence will be the better quarterback.
Shout out Christian Kirk, too. Killing it in fantasy.
Yeah, a lot of people harped on the Jags for him being overpaid. I know we went on the show months back, kind of questioned that a little bit, but as James mentioned, they've got like a real healthy dose of just balanced offense. Like, not that one threat. Everybody's kind of doing their job. As James mentioned, Zay Jones, I think he even had a pretty solid season last year as well. He's been a solid player for them. And yeah, that defense, even Travon Walker's been pretty good. So I hope the Jags can do it. I don't think that they're gonna, James, but hey, you never know. That's a tough division, so even 8 to 9 wins, I think, could maybe win you that division.
Sorry, Josh. I think people need to apologize to Trent Baalke, whatever his name is, and Devin Lloyd is the highest graded defensive rookie, so they really got the steal in the second round. Utah guy, he's really good.
That was my guy. I was telling everybody the Pats should have scooped him up. I don't know why the Pats missed on him, and I don't even know who they got in the first round. I forget who was it. Cole Strange.
Who'd you get in the second round?
Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, we traded up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So listen, I was shocked to see Devin Lloyd, like Jimmy just mentioned him. He was a standout from Utah. He was one of the reasons why.
Right.
What?
There's a medical reason why he slipped.
Yeah, I think so. I think he just had a little bit of an injury, sort of at the end of the season. Just. It just shows you just got to look at the tape. I know some of the medical stuff can steer you clear, but sometimes just the tape doesn't lie. I mean, he's just a beast. It was one of the main reasons why Utah was so ranked high and they got so far in the previous season. You're starting to see it now with them being unranked, his presence not being there. So shout out to the Jags finally getting some picks right. And like Josh mentioned, Trayvon Walker already having a solid season as well. So some of those picks are already starting to pay off at dividends for them.
Yeah, and a couple scouts, I was just looking at an article was comparing Devin Lloyd's first 3 games to Bobby Wagner. Said he's very similar, can cover tight ends, is general on the field. So, I mean, if you did that, you hit a grand slam.
Without a doubt. And the Jaguars need that. Hopefully they can take a step in the right direction. My original take was, this team will be kind of like what the Falcons have been so far. Like, keep games interesting, but, play competitive, but don't end up winning games. They've proved me wrong so far. Still a lot of football left, though. I'm going to stick to it, though. I think they win that division. So if you want to ride with me, maybe put some money on them to win it. The odds are probably decent. I think it's going to be a 9-8 or 8-9 season to win that AFC South. But, however, we got to wrap up for today. We've got some huge news coming on the way. So bear with us. Stay tuned on that. Quick little tease there.
Like a white rabbit tease.
What was that?
Like the white rabbit right there.
The white rabbit tease for our WWE fans. That's been huge stuff. Ben's like, what the hell are they talking about?
Who knows? I like it, though. I like the tease, Josh.
Yeah, it's a nice tease. So stay tuned. Hopefully next show we'll kick it off with some massive news. So stay tuned. But again, we will have our picks up for you guys on Thursday. Just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in and joining. Our chat was absolutely bumping today. I'm going to hand it off to James and Ben as I always do. And I'm just going to finish it off with this. Trevon Diggs sealed the game a couple of weeks ago. He sealed it last night. Give the man his flowers. He's a top 10 corner. Enough said.
Right. I don't know if Jimmy's got anything. Jimmy probably doesn't have anything.
The gods can bless Mac Jones's ankle. Will be good in a few weeks.
There we go.
Pittsburgh's not even relevant anymore. I just want to say, Ben, I hope your sources can figure this thing out. You guys can let the audience know what's happening, what's in the works. But I was glad to be back. It's fun. It's always fun, and it's a great time of the year. You know, we got basketball, hockey, baseball playoffs. So this is a cool time of year.
All right, best time of the year right now. So I guess thanks for everyone always. I'm gonna say thanks for Jimmy just jumping on. I guess he's always just hanging out. More shout out to Jameson. He got a nice pumpkin over there. So shout out Jameson. As always, but no, shout out everybody tuning in and just watching. Like Josh said, it was bumping today. Chat was going crazy. A lot of harassment of Jimmy and a lot of harassment of the Steelers. And we'll monitor that Zion bet going forward with him and Zach. Over 55 games for Zach, under 55 for Jimmy. We'll monitor that. Hey, it's going to be great. NFL Sunday. A lot of sports coming up. You got something to say?
Yeah, I know you end the show, but I need to get this off my chest. I held up my end of the bet with Rob. I would hope that he can end up his, fulfill his part of and come on the show and let us know who his real team is in the NFL. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there. He has to finish the deal.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Stay tuned. We got something big.